Hello, my little hornets. This is Miss Trevino, and I'm here to read today's read along. It is called Bubba the Cowboy Prince, and it's a fractured Texas tale. I'm hoping that you can relate it to a very famous fairy tale that we already know about. So hopefully, you all can figure that one out. So, this book is written by Helen Ketteman, and it's illustrated by James Warhola. It's published by Scholastic Press. The AR level is a 3.8 and the quiz number is 29298. Now remember that once we're done reading the book, you can go ahead and take the AR quiz. The link will be in the comments below. So once a strapping young feller named Bubba lived on a ranch with his wicked stepdaddy and his hateful and lazy stepbrothers, Dwayne and Milton. Bubba's stepdaddy spoiled Dwayne and Milton to no end, but Bubba, he worked from sun up to sundown doing the chores of 3 ranch hands. Bubba never complained, though. He loved ranching. Dwayne and Milton spent their days sitting on horseback, bossing Bubba around. "Get them doggies along there, Bubba," ordered Dwayne. "Yeah, and watch out for them cow patties," added Milton. "You know how Daddy hates for you to track up the house." Now, Miss Laureline, who lived down the road a piece, was the prettiest and richest gal in the county. She owned the biggest spread west of the Brazos, and she loved ranching too, but it was lonesome work, and after a while, she decided it was time for some companionship. "I aim to find myself a feller," she said, "one who loves ranching as much as I do, and it wouldn't hurt if he was cute as a cow's ear either." Miss Laureline decided to throw a ball. She sent invitations to all the ranchers in Texas. Soon the day of the ball arrived. Milton and Dwayne spent all day getting gussied up in their finest studs. Bubba about ran himself ragged waiting on them. "Bubba," shouted Dwayne, "fetch my bolo tie." "Bubba," shouted Milton, "get my boots polished." "Bubba," shouted his wicked stepdaddy, "brush them horses and wash that wagon." By the time Dwayne and Milton and their wicked daddy were ready to go, Bubba was exhausted. Still, as they climbed into the wagon, Bubba asked, "Can't you wait for me to get ready? I want to dance with Miss Laureline too." Dwayne and Milton and their wicked daddy hooted and hollered. "Why, you're sorrier than a steer in a stockyard," said Dwayne. "Can you imagine Miss Laureline dancing with the likes of you?" said Milton. "Miss Laureline wouldn't even wipe the dirt clods off her boots with that raggedy shirt of yours, and you smell more like the cattle than the cattle do." So Bubba took a look at himself. It was true. He didn't have a decent shirt to wear, and his boots were downright disgraceful, and he did smell a bit rough. Milton and Dwayne were right. Miss Laureline wouldn't dance with the likes of him. Bubba hung his head, and he felt lower than a rattlesnake in a gully. Milton and Dwayne and their wicked daddy went on off to the ball. Bubba mounted his horse and headed to the pasture to check on the herd. The sky was getting darker, and a black bull at midnight. It looked like a Texas thunderstorm was brewing. Bubba had just arrived at the cow pasture when a bolt of lightning struck, knocking him off the horse. Bubba was stunned for a moment, but when he picked himself up, he heard a voice. "Go to the ball, Bubba," said the voice. Bubba looked around and no one was there except him and the cows. Now Bubba figured he'd bonked the bejeebers out of his bean, because the voice was coming from a cow. She chewed her cud for a moment and then said, "I'm your fairy god cow, and I can help you go to the ball." Bubba sat up, rubbing his head. "I'd like to go, Miss God Cow, but shoot, I don't have a thing to wear." The fairy god cow swished her tail, and Bubba's raggedy clothes changed into the handsomest cowboy duds he'd ever laid eyes on. His jeans were crisp, his boots were shiny, his shirt was dazzling, and his Stetson was whiter than new salt lick. "Why, I look downright purty," said Bubba. The fairy god cow swished her tail again, and a nearby steed turned into the most beautiful white stallion Bubba had ever seen. "Now go on off to the ball, Bubba, and have a good time dancing with Miss Laureline. But you'd best be home by midnight, That's when the magic runs out. Yahoo! Shouted Bubba as he jumped on the white horse and galloped off to the ball. When Bubba arrived, the hoedown was in full swing. But every time Miss Laureline finished a dance, she yawned. There goes another $10 Stetson on a 5-cent head, she complained. Where are all the real cowboys? By the time it was Bubba's turn to dance with Miss Laureline, it was almost midnight. Soon as she saw Bubba, Miss Laureline's eyes lit up. Why, you're cute as a cow's eel, she said. Bubba blushed. Then took Miss Laureline in his arms and started dancing. Dwayne and Milton turned purple with jealousy. Who's that dude? Said Dwayne. I don't recollect seeing him before, but he looks mighty familiar, said Milton. Do something, said the wicked daddy. That cowboy's winning Miss Laureline's heart. As it turned out, Milton and Dwayne didn't have to do a thing because Bubba and Miss Laureline were in the middle of a do-si-doing when the clock struck midnight. Suddenly, Bubba's fine duds turned into dirty rags, the dirty rags he usually wore around the ranch. He looked sorry, and he smelled worse. What is that awful smell? Asked Milton. Why, it's Bubba, shouted Dwayne. Bubba turned 14 shades of red, apologized to Miss Laureline, and ran out the room. Wait, she yelled, chasing after him. But Bubba didn't wait. He jumped on his cow and lumbered off into the night. In the ruckus, he lost one of his dirty cowboy boots. Miss Laureline clasped it in her arms. This is the boot of a real cowboy and the man I want to marry, and I aim to find him. Miss Laureline went back inside, and though she asked everybody at the ball, nobody knew who the mysterious cowboy was. Nobody, except Dwayne and Milton and their wicked daddy, that is. But they weren't talking. So the next day, Miss Laureline went from ranch to ranch looking for the cowboy who owned the boot. When it came to Dwayne and Milton's ranch, both brothers tried the boot on, but it didn't fit. Miss Laureline had just climbed on her horse to leave when Bubba rode up. He was dirty and sweaty and smelling from working with the cows, and he was only wearing one boot. Miss Laureline jumped off her horse and ran over to Bubba. Try this on, she cried. Bubba took his dirty old boot and pulled it on. Much obliged, ma'am, he said, blushing. It fit perfectly. You're my prince and cowboy boots, shouted Miss Laureline. I'd recognize that smell anywhere. Marry me, cowboy, and help me work my ranch. Dwayne and Milton and their wicked daddy threw chicken fits. But Bubba just smiled, and he and Miss Laureline rode off into the sunset. They lived happily ever after. The end. I hope that you guys liked this book, guys. Don't forget to take the AR quiz. And again, thank you to Scholastic for allowing us to do this read along. We'll see you guys tomorrow.